Imagine stepping into a world where power and wealth rule, where the man at the top fears nothing and respects no one. Meet Leonardo DeLuca, a billionaire who thrives on control. A man who sees kindness as weakness and women as nothing more than distractions. But then Alina Ricci enters his world. A dedicated pediatrician with a heart of gold. She has one mission: to help the poor, the orphans, and those in need. She never wanted to work for a man like Leonardo. But fate had other plans. From the moment she arrives, she faces nothing but hatred, jealousy, and cruelty. Her co-workers bully her, spread lies, and brand her as incompetent. And Leonardo, he fights with her at every turn, challenging her, mocking her, humiliating her. But there's something different about Elena's, and even Leonardo can't ignore. He despises her presence, yet he can't stay away. His heart, once cold, unshakable, starts to soften in ways he never imagined. Is this love, or just another battle he refuses to lose? Will Leonardo win Elena's heart, or will his arrogance push her away forever? Stay tuned to find out. If it's your first time here, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your loved ones. Let's dive into this incredible story together. The name Leonardo Moretti struck fear in the corporate world. He was a man who never smiled without reason. A businessman whose success was built on ruthless decisions and an unshakable belief that emotions were a weakness. From his office on the top floor of Moretti Enterprises, he overlooked the city, a kingdom he had conquered through power and precision. He had no time for distractions, especially not love. But fate had other plans. Across the city, Lena Russo stood outside the grand glass doors of Moretti Enterprises, clutching the strap of her handbag. She had no interest in this job. Corporate. Foundation. It was miles away from the world she belonged to, the world of hospitals, sick children, and healing. But her parents had insisted. Just try it, her mother had urged. You could do some good there. Taking a deep breath, Elena stepped inside. The reception area was sleek, modern, and utterly lifeless. Employees bustled around in expensive suits, their faces cold, their eyes sharp. Alina felt the shift immediately. This was not a place where kindness thrived. She approached the front desk. I'm here for the interview. The receptionist barely looked at her. Name? Alina Russo. A flicker of recognition crossed the woman's face. Oh, you're the doctor. Something in her tone made Alina uneasy. Before she could ask what that meant, a tall man in a sharp navy suit appeared. His smile was forced, his handshake stiff. I'm Marco, Mr. Moretti's assistant. Follow me. Alina was led through a series of glass-walled offices. She caught snippets of whispered conversations as she passed murmurs of speculation. Why would she be here? She doesn't belong in this world. Moretti won't tolerate weakness. Alina squared her shoulders. Let them talk. She wasn't here to impress them. Then they reached his office. The doors swung open. And there he was, Leonardo Moretti, seated behind a vast, imposing desk. His dark eyes lifted from his papers, locking onto hers. Alina had expected arrogance, but the sheer intensity of his gaze caught her off guard. This was a man who commanded power effortlessly. Miss Russo, he said, his voice smooth but distant. Sit. Alina sat. He studied her, his expression unreadable. I'll be honest, I don't believe in charity. I don't believe in soft hearts making business decisions. So tell me, why should I let you work here? Alina met his gaze head on. 'Cause you need someone who actually cares about people. A tense silence filled the room. Then, to her surprise, the corner of his mouth lifted slightly. Interesting, he murmured. For the first time in years, someone had intrigued him. Alina held her breath as Leonardo studied her with a look of cold amusement. You think I need someone like you? He asked, leaning back in his chair. She refused to flinch. I think your foundation should be more than just a tool to boost your company's reputation. A flicker of something passed through his eyes' annoyance. Amusement. It was impossible to tell. You don't hold back, do you? He mused. Most people walk into this office trying to impress me. I'm not most people. Leonardo smirked. He liked challenges. But this woman, this doctor, was unlike anyone who had ever sat across from him. She wasn't intimidated, wasn't trying to win his favor. Alina Russo, he said slowly, a pediatrician, no business experience, no corporate connections. Yet you believe you can tell me how to run my own foundation. She crossed her arms. What's the point of having billions if you don't use it to help people? Sharp? Silence filled the office. For the first time in years, Leonardo felt something. A disturbance in the perfectly controlled world he had built. His assistant, Marco, cleared his throat. Sir, we have other candidates. Leonardo held up a hand, silencing him. Then, with a slow, calculating smile, he turned back to Alina. I don't hire people based on passion alone. If you work here, you'll play by my rules. No unnecessary emotions, no naive idealism. You'll do as you're told. He leaned in slightly, his voice lowering. Are you prepared for that? Elena's heart pounded. Every instinct screamed at her to walk away. This man was dangerous, not in the physical sense, but in the way he controlled everything around Jim, including people. But if she walked away, nothing would change. She straightened her spine. I accept. Leonardo's smirk widened. Then, welcome to Moretti Enterprises. The news of Elena's hiring spread like wildfire. The office buzzed with whispers, envious glares, and quiet judgments. She won't last a week. She's too soft for this world. What does Moretti see in her? Elena ignored them. She had a job to do. By lunchtime, she had her first taste of the hostility she would face. While scanning reports in the break room, a group of well-dressed employees strolled in. A tall blonde woman smirked as she walked past. You must be her, she said, voice dripping with sarcasm. Alina looked up. Excuse me, the charity case. The woman sneered. Dr. Russo, the saint who thinks she can fix the world. Elena's fingers tightened around the file. And you are? Valentina Rossi, the woman said with a fake smile. Senior advisor. And I don't like people who don't belong. Alina met her gaze, unshaken. Good thing I don't need. Your approval? Valentina's eyes darkened. We'll see about that. As she walked away, Elena let out a slow breath. She wasn't just fighting for a job. She was stepping into enemy territory. And somewhere in his office, Leonardo Moretti watched it all unfold, intrigued more than he cared to admit. Alina quickly learned that Moretti Enterprises wasn't just a business empire, it was a battlefield. Every interaction was laced with hidden agendas. Every smile held a sharp edge. She saw it in the way employees eyed each other like rivals, how alliances were built and broken in whispers. And at the top of it all sat Leonardo Moretti, watching, controlling, owning everything, including, it seemed, her time by the second day. She had been given an overwhelming workload: reports, corporate meetings, project proposals. It was as if they wanted her to fail before she even had a chance to start. She wouldn't give them the satisfaction late into the evening. Alina sat in the empty boardroom, skimming through financial reports. The numbers blurred together. Exhaustion settling deep in her bones. You're still here? The deep voice startled her. She looked up to see Leonardo standing in the doorway, hands in his pockets, eyes unreadable. She straightened. There's a lot to do. He stepped inside, his gaze flicking over the documents. Most new hires would have quit by now. I'm not most hires. Something flickered in his eyes' approval amusement. It vanished before she could be sure. You're working too hard. She let out a short laugh. Are you actually concerned about my well-being, Mr. Moretti? He smirked. I need my employees functioning, not collapsing on their desks. Alina shook her head. I'm fine. Leonardo studied her for a moment. Then, to her shock, he pulled out a chair and sat across from her. Tell me, he said, Why did you really take this job? Elena hesitated. He was testing her, looking for weaknesses. She met his gaze because I want to make a difference. Leonardo leaned back, idealistic, honest. A pause. Then he said something unexpected. I used to think like that. Elena frowned. What changed? His jaw tightened slightly. Reality? Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. Glanced at it, then stood. Go home, Dr. Russo. She didn't move. Thought you liked employees who pushed themselves. A slow, almost dangerous smile crossed his lips. I like people who win. With that, he left. Elena sat there, pulse racing. Leonardo Moretti was a mystery man who claimed to be ruthless, yet left hints of something deeper. And whether she liked it or not, she was getting pulled into his world. Elena arrived at the office the next morning to find chaos waiting for her. Her inbox was flooded with emails marked urgent. Reports she hadn't even seen were suddenly her responsibility. Meetings she hadn't scheduled appeared on her calendar, and, worst of all, someone had altered the financial report she submitted last night instead of the correct figures. The document now contained glaring mistakes. The moment she stepped into the boardroom, she knew it was a setup. Leonardo Moretti sat at the head of the table, his expression unreadable. Senior executives lined both sides and at the far end. Valentina Rossi smirked as she held up the printed report. These numbers are completely inaccurate. Valentina said smoothly, I assumed this was Dr. Russo's work. Elena's fingers curled into fists before she could speak. Leonardo's voice cut through the tension. I don't tolerate incompetence. His eyes locked onto Elena's for the first time since she started. She saw no amusement, no intriguingly cold judgment. She's new, sir, Valentina continued. Maybe she wasn't ready for this responsibility. A few executives chuckled. Elena took a slow breath, forcing herself to stay calm. The report was altered. Valentina raised an eyebrow. Are you suggesting someone sabotaged your work? A few people scoffed, shaking their heads. Leonardo leaned back. Do you have proof? Lena hesitated. No, not yet. I reviewed the numbers last night. They were correct. Valentina let out a small laugh. Convenient. Elena turned to Leonardo, searching for any sign that he believed her. His gaze was unreadable. Fix it. By the end of the day, the meeting was over. Elena walked out, anger burning in her veins. She had stepped into a war zone, and if she wanted to survive, she needed to fight back. Back at her desk, Elena dug through the system, scanning file histories. Whoever did this had covered their tracks well. She was so focused, she didn't notice Leonardo enter until his voice broke the silence. You handled that poorly. She looked up, glaring. You think I'm lying? He studied her. I think you're out of your depth. Her heart pounded. Someone set me up. And yet you had no proof. He tilted his head. Do you know what happens to people in my world when they make accusations without evidence? Elena stood. I don't care about your world, Moretti. I care about the truth. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Then, to her shock, he smirked. Then find it, he said, and just like that, he walked away. Elena didn't sleep that night. She spent hours combing through company files, searching for any trace of who had tampered with her report. But whoever did it knew exactly how to cover their tracks. By morning, her eyes burned with exhaustion. But her determination was sharper than ever. She wouldn't let them win. The office was already buzzing when she arrived. As she walked through the hallways, whispers followed her. Some employees smirked. Others gave her pitying looks. Valentina's work, no doubt. Elena ignored them and went straight to the IT department. A young technician, Marco, looked up as she entered. He adjusted his glasses nervously. Dr. Russo, how can I help you? Need access to file history logs from yesterday, she said. Marco hesitated. That's restricted information. Elena crossed her arms. And what if I told you someone tampered with a financial report under my name? Marco swallowed hard. That would be serious. Exactly. She leaned forward. I don't need you to break rules. Just point me in the right direction. Marco hesitated, then sighed. I can't give you full access, but if someone made edits to your file, the system logs something. Kay typed quickly, scanning the screen. Then his eyes widened. There was an unauthorized login on your account last night. Elena's pulse spiked. Whose login was used? Marco hesitated. It's encrypted. But the access came from the executive floor. Her stomach dropped. Only senior executives worked on that level. Valentina. Clenched her fists. This wasn't just petty office politics. This was calculated sabotage. She stormed into the executive wing. Heading straight for Valentina's office, the door was slightly open. Inside, Valentina laughed softly as she spoke on the phone. She's too naive to last here, she was saying. Leonardo will get bored of his little experiment soon enough. Elena pushed the door open. Valentina looked up, surprised. Then, slowly, she smirked. I'll call you back. She set the phone down. Dr. Russo, how bold of you to drop by. Elena folded her arms. I know what you did. Valentina tilted her head. Oh, enlighten me. You tampered with my report. Valentina laughed. Do you have proof? Elena's nails dug into her palms. You really think you can get away with this? I know I can, Valentina said smoothly. If you're playing a game you don't understand, darling, Moretti Enterprises isn't a charity. It's a battlefield. Kay and you're nothing more than an outsider. Elena's blood boiled. You're afraid of me? Valentina's smile faltered just for a second. Then, with a cold glare, she leaned closer. Stay in your lane, doctor, before you get hurt. Elena refused to look away. She wouldn't let Valentina intimidate her. But as she walked out of the office, one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't just a job anymore. This was war. Elena sat at her desk, her mind racing. Valentina had openly threatened her, and Leonardo had dismissed her concerns like they were nothing. The company was against her. The system was rigged. But she wasn't giving up. If they wanted a fight, she'd give them one. Hours later, Elena was reviewing patient funding requests when her office phone rang. Dr. Russo. Mr. Moretti wants to see you in his penthouse. She frowned. Penthouse. Leonardo's office was intimidating enough, but his penthouse was personal still. She had no choice. The top floor of the skyscraper was unlike anything she'd ever seen. Floor 2 ceiling windows overlooked the city skyline. Luxurious furniture filled the space. And at the center of it all, standing by a massive window with a glass of whiskey in hand, Leonardo Moretti. He didn't turn as she entered. You don't know when to quit, do you? Elena folded her arms. Should I? Is that what you expect? Finally, he faced her. His gaze was sharp, unreadable. You confronted Valentina because she sabotaged me. He took a slow sip of whiskey. And yet, you have no proof. Her jaw clenched. I don't need proof to know she's a liar. A ghost of a smirk touched his lips. Careful, Dr. Russo. Accusing powerful people. Without evidence, dangerous game. She refused to back down. I thought you wanted people who weren't afraid to challenge corruption. Leonardo studied her. You're different from the others, 'cause I don't bow to you. Chuckled, low and deep. Because you don't back down. She narrowed her eyes. You called me here to intimidate me? It won't work. Leonardo set his glass down and stepped closer. You think I called you here for intimidation? His voice was quieter. Now, more dangerous. Elena's heart pounded. Didn't you? He was close to close. The air between them crackled with tension. Then, to her shock, he leaned in slightly, his voice a whisper against her ear. No. She swallowed hard, refusing to let him see how he affected her. I called you here, continued, stepping back just enough to meet her eyes, because I do believe you. Elena's breath caught. What? Leonardo studied her reaction. I know Valentina tampered with your report. Rage surged through her. Then why didn't you stop her? He picked up his glass again, turning away. Because I wanted to see what you'd do. Her stomach twisted. She exhaled, sharply. You let her humiliate me, to test me. He didn't deny it. Her hands curled into fists. You're no better than her. Leonardo finally looked at her, his gaze intense. Maybe. Silence stretched between them. Then he said something that made her chest tighten. But unlike her, I don't want to destroy you. Alina didn't know whether to believe him. But one thing was clear: Leonardo Moretti played by his own rules, and if she wanted to win this battle, she had to learn the game. Alina stormed out of Leonardo's penthouse, her heart pounding to hit known all along. He had let Valentina sabotage her just to test her. Rage burned in her chest. Leonardo Moretti wasn't just ruthless, he was calculating, played with. People like they were pieces on a chessboard. But she wasn't a pawn. The next morning, Alina walked into the company headquarters with her head high. She wasn't going to run. If Leonardo wanted to play a game, she'd play. She walked past Valentina's office without sparing her a glance. The woman's smirk was almost visible through the glass walls. Fine, let her gloat. Alina had something she didn't. Leonardo's attention by noon. Alina received an unexpected email from Leonardo Moretti. Subject: dinner. Tonight, 8 p.m. My driver will pick you up. No greeting. No explanation. Just a command. She stared at the screen. A dinner meeting. With him, every instinct told her to refuse. But she wasn't stupid. Leonardo had power, and right now, she needed an ally. She typed back one word. Fine. At precisely 8 p.m., a sleek black car pulled up outside her apartment. Alina hesitated before getting in. She was stepping into dangerous territory. The driver took her to a 5-star restaurant, one she'd only ever seen in magazines. As she stepped inside, she felt the weight of the stairs. This wasn't just a restaurant. It was a place for the elite. And she, in her simple black dress, was an outsider. But then she spotted him. Leonardo sat at a private table, dressed in a tailored suit, exuding quiet dominance. His gaze flicked over her. You came. She took a seat. I don't like games, Mr. Moretti. His lips curved slightly. You're playing one right now. Alina held his stare. Then let's get to the point. Why am I here? He leaned back. Because you intrigue me. She stiffened. If this is about, he cut her off. It's about business. For now. She narrowed her eyes. For now. Leonardo swirled the wine in his glass. Tell me, Dr. Russo, how far are you willing to go to survive in my world? Her pulse quickened. I don't need your help. No, he studied her. Then why are you here? Alina opened her mouth but hesitated. He leaned in. Admit it. You're starting to understand. Understand what? She challenged. That in a world like this, power wins. And right now, I'm offering you an advantage. Alina's breath caught. Leonardo Moretti was giving her a choice. Stay on the outside and struggle, or step into his world and learn how to fight. She lifted her chin. What exactly are you offering? A slow, dangerous smile crossed his lips. Everything. Alina gripped the stem of her wineglass, her mind racing. Leonardo Moretti was offering her power, but power always came at a price. She met his gaze, searching for the catch. And what do you want in return? He smirked. Loyalty. A chill ran down her spine. Loyalty to him. I work for your company, not for you, she said carefully. Leonardo leaned forward. Everything in my empire belongs to me, Alina, including the people who work for it. Her fingers tightened around the glass. This wasn't just about business. This was about control. The next morning, Alina arrived at the hospital, determined to shake off last night's conversation. But the moment she stepped into the building, she felt it, the shift. People were whispering, watching her. A nurse hurried over. Dr. Russo, are you okay? Alina frowned. Why wouldn't I be? The nurse hesitated, then handed her a tablet. "You should see this." Elena's stomach dropped as she read the article. "Ruthless Billionaire's New Protege," accompanied by a photo of her and Leonardo at dinner. Heat rushed to her cheeks. The headline twisted the truth, making it seem like she was something more than just an employee. Her mind raced. Was this Leonardo's doing? A test? A warning? Before she could process it, Valentina appeared, smiling like a predator. "Oh dear," she said mockingly. "It seems like you've made quite an impression." Elena forced herself to remain calm. "Jealous?" Valentina's smile faltered. "Watch yourself, Russo. Leonardo Moretti doesn't keep people around for long." With that, she walked away, her heels clicking against the tile. Elena exhaled slowly. She had just stepped onto a battlefield, and there was no turning back. That evening, her phone buzzed. "Message from Leonardo.com to my office." Now, she debated ignoring it, but she needed answers by the time she arrived. Leonardo was waiting, his expression unreadable. So, she demanded, "Did you leak that story?" His lips curled into a smirk. "Does it matter?" Her jaw clenched. "It matters to me." Leonardo studied her, then stood. He walked over, stopping just inches away. "Let me make something clear, Elena." She held her breath as his voice dropped to a whisper. "The moment you walked into my world, you became part of my story, and I don't let go of what's mine." A shiver ran down her spine. She had walked straight into the lions. Dendata now, she wasn't sure if she'd survive. Elena's heart pounded as she stared up at Leonardo. His words echoed in her mind. "I don't let go of what's mine." She forced herself to hold her ground. "I don't belong to anyone, Leonardo. Least of all, you." A slow smirk played on his lips. "You keep telling yourself that?" Lena clenched her fists. "That article is ruining my reputation." "People think I'm your—" She stopped, unable to say the word. His eyes darkened. "That you're my mistress?" Silence stretched between them. Then he leaned in, his voice a whisper. "Would that be such a terrible thing?" Lena's breath caught. A mix of fury and something dangerous twisted inside her. "I came here to work, not to play your games," she snapped. Leonardo's gaze flickered with amusement. "Then stop acting like a pawn." He turned away, signaling that their conversation was over. But Elena wasn't done. "I want that article retracted." Leonardo glanced at her over his shoulder. "Then earn it." Stomach clenched. "What do you mean?" He walked back to his desk, picking up a file. "There's a gala tomorrow. Important investors will be there. If you want to control the narrative, show up as my date." Lena stared at him in disbelief. "You want me to pretend to be with you?" Leonardo shrugged. "Or let them believe whatever they want." Her pulse thundered. This was a trap, and she had no way out. The next evening, Elena stood in front of her mirror, adjusting the sleek black gown she had reluctantly chosen. She hated this, she hated that. Leonardo had backed her into a corner, but she wasn't going to let him win. When she arrived at the gala, all eyes turned to her. Leonardo was already there, looking every bit the untouchable billionaire in his tailored suit. He extended a hand. "Shall we?" Elena took it, forcing a smile. "Try anything, and I'll make sure you regret it." He chuckled. Now that is the Elena I like. They walked in together, and just like that, she was part of his world. A world filled with power, deception, and danger. And she was drowning in it. The moment Elena stepped into the grand ballroom, she felt the weight of every gaze on her. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, whispers laced with curiosity and jealousy. Leonardo kept his grip firm on her waist as they walked in together, his presence commanding the room. "Relax," he murmured against her ear. "You look stunning." Elena forced a smile. "I'm not here to impress you." He chuckled. "No, but you're doing it anyway." Her stomach twisted. She hated how effortlessly he got under her skin. A waiter approached, offering champagne. Lena took a glass, using it as a shield between her and the sea of judgmental eyes. Across the room, she spotted Valentina, her lips curling into a smirk. Valentina sauntered over, her voice dripping with amusement. Alina, what a surprise. I never thought I'd see you at an event like this. Alina matched her smile, and yet here I am. Valentina's gaze flickered to Leonardo. I must say, Leonardo, you move fast. Leonardo smirked. Some. Things are worth moving fast for. Elena's pulse jumped, but she masked it with a sip of champagne. She refused to let Valentina get to her. Enjoy the party, Elena said coolly, turning her back on Valentina before she could get the last word. Leonardo watched her with amusement. You handle yourself well. I have no choice. She muttered. Before he could respond, an older man approached, his suit crisp, its expression sharp. Leonardo, the man greeted. I see you've brought a date. Leonardo's smile remained unreadable. Alina, meet Alessandro Ricci, one of our major investors. Alina extended her hand. Nice to meet you. Alessandro's grip was firm. Heard a lot about. You, Alina, tensed. Good things, I hope. Alessandro's smile didn't reach his eyes. We'll see. A chill ran down her spine. Leonardo must have noticed because he subtly stepped between them. Shall we dance? Alina hesitated, but she knew refusing him in front of his investors would only cause more gossip. So she placed her hand in his, allowing him to guide her onto the dance floor as the music swelled. He pulled her close, his voice low. Careful. Alina, you're in deeper than you think. She looked up at him, her heart pounding. And whose fault is that? His eyes darkened. Mine? A confession. And yet it changed nothing. Because Alina knew one thing for certain. She was playing. A game she didn't know how to win. Elena's pulse quickened as she moved across the dance floor with Leonardo. The world around them faded. The music a mere hum in the background. His grip was firm, yet controlled. A silent reminder that he always held the upper hand. I don't trust Ricci, she murmured. Leonardo's jaw tensed. Neither do I. He's been circling like a vulture, waiting for me to slip. Alina arched a brow. Then why invite him? Because keeping enemies close is the only way to control them. The weight of his words sent a shiver down her spine. She was beginning to understand the world Leonardo lived in, a world of deception, power, and constant battles. As the dance ended, Leonardo led her off the floor. Stay by my side tonight. Alina scoffed. You mean play the role of your perfect little accessory? He smirked. Exactly. Before she could protest, a voice cut through the crowd. Alina. She turned and froze. Marco, her ex-boyfriend, stood just a few feet away, his dark eyes filled with disbelief. Leonardo's grip on her waist tightened. Friend of yours, Alina swallowed hard. Something like that. Marco stormed closer. What the hell is this? His gaze darted between her and Leonardo. You're with him now? Leonardo's expression remained unreadable, but there was an undeniable tension in the air. Alina straightened. This isn't your business, Marco. Marco let out a bitter laugh. Not my business. You disappear, cut me off, and now I find. You wrapped around him. He turned to Leonardo. You don't even care about her, do you? Leonardo's smirk vanished. I don't owe you an explanation. Marco scoffed. Of course you don't. Because to you she's just another pawn. Alina's hands curled into fists. That's enough. But Marco wasn't finished. His voice dropped, laced with something dangerous. Be careful, Alina. Men like him don't change. They consume people like you. Leonardo's eyes darkened, but before he could respond, Marco walked away. Alina exhaled shakily, her emotions a tangled mess. Leonardo leaned in, his voice low. You have a habit of attracting trouble? She turned to face him, her heart pounding. And you have a habit of being trouble. He chuckled. But as the night continued, a thought gnawed at the back of Elena's mind. Was Marco right? Was she just another piece in Leonardo's game? Or had she already lost herself? To him, Alina barely slept that night. Marco's words echoed in her mind. Men like him don't change. They consume people like you. Was he right? Had she been so blinded by Leonardo's world that she failed to see the truth? Morning came too soon. The golden rays of sunlight poured into her room, but they did little to warm the cold knot in her stomach. She needed space. Clarity, something Leonardo's presence never allowed. Her phone buzzed. Leonardo, be ready in an hour. I'm picking you up. Elena's jaw tightened. He didn't ask. He commanded. And that was the problem. She typed back. Elena, I have things to do today. I'll see you later. His reply was instant. Leonardo, cancel them. I need you. Elena exhaled sharply. Never accepted no for an answer. But today, she wouldn't bend. She ignored his message, threw on a simple sundress, and left her apartment. If she wanted answers, she had to find them herself. An hour later, she stood outside a sleek, glass-covered building, Marco's office. She hadn't planned on coming here, but deep down, she knew he was the only one who would tell her the truth without a hidden agenda. Taking a breath, Ski walked inside. Marco looked surprised to see her. Alina, he set down his coffee. Didn't think you'd come. I need to know, she said firmly. What did you mean last night? About Leonardo? Marco studied her carefully. Sit down. She didn't just tell me. He sighed. Leonardo doesn't just do business, Alina. He destroys people. When he wants something, he takes it. And if someone stands in his way, they don't stand for long. A chill ran through her. What are you saying? Marco hesitated. I looked into him after I saw you with him. It's dangerous, Alina. The deals he makes, the people he works with, they don't play fair. Elena's throat tightened. She wanted to dismiss it, to call Marco bitter and jealous, but deep down, she already knew Leonardo wasn't just an ordinary businessman. She just didn't want to admit it. Leave while you can, Marco said. Because once you're in his world, there's no getting out. Alina swallowed hard. I can handle myself. Marco's expression darkened. You don't know what you're dealing with. Her phone vibrated. Leonardo, come outside now. Her heart jumped. Had he followed her? She turned to the window, and there he was. Standing beside his black car, his gaze locked on hers. He knew she was here, and from the cold, unreadable look on his face, he wasn't happy about it. Elena's breath hitched as she met Leonardo's piercing gaze through the glass. He wasn't just waiting, he was watching, his expression unreadable but undeniably dark. Marco stood beside her, arms crossed. I don't have to go, but they both knew she would. Alina turned, her pulse hammering as she exited the building. As soon as she stepped onto the sidewalk, Leonardo opened the car door. Get in. It wasn't a request. For a brief moment, she hesitated. But then she saw the tension in his jaw, the silent fury simmering just beneath the surface. Defying him now would only make things worse. She slid inside. The door shut with a decisive click. Silence filled the car as Leonardo drove, his grip on the wheel firm, controlled. You went to Marco. His voice was low, dangerous. Alina folded her arms. I needed answers. His jaw ticked. Anita. Thought he would give them to you? He told me the truth, Leonardo. He let out a dark chuckle. No, he told you what you wanted to hear. Alina turned to face him fully. Then tell me the real truth. No more games. Leonardo's fingers flexed against the leather steering wheel. For the first time, he looked hesitant. After a long pause, he pulled the car into a secluded area overlooking the city skyline. He killed the engine and exhaled slowly, as if weighing. His words, my world is built on power, Alina, on control. I don't apologize for that. He turned to her, his blue eyes burning with intensity. But I would never hurt you. Her heart clenched. That's not enough. A muscle in his jaw twitched. It's all I can give. Alina swallowed. Hard. She wanted to believe him, but doubt gnawed at her. "Why did you come after me today?" she asked. Leonardo leaned in, his voice barely above a whisper. "Because you're mine, Alina." She shivered, not from fear, but from the raw possession in his tone, and that terrified her more than anything. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Unknown. You don't belong in his world. Walk away before it's too late." Elena's blood ran cold. She wasn't just caught between two men. She was caught in something far more dangerous, and someone was watching. Elena's fingers tightened around her phone. A message burned into her mind, each word sending a pulse of fear through her veins. Leonardo noticed. "What is it?" She hesitated. Trusting him had always been dangerous, but hiding things from him, that was even worse. Wordlessly, she turned the phone screen toward him. His expression darkened as he read the message. A muscle in his jaw flexed, and when he looked up, his eyes were no longer just cold, they were lethal. "Who sent this?" His voice was controlled, but there was a razor-sharp edge to it. "I don't know." Leonardo took the phone from her, studying the number. Then, without a word, he dialed. The line rang once, twice, then click. The call was cut off. Elena's stomach twisted. Whoever sent the message didn't want to be found. Leonardo cursed under his breath and tossed the phone onto the dashboard. "You should have never gone to Marco." Elena's patience snapped. "So this is my fault." His head turned sharply. "You don't understand how this world works, Alina. You think you're uncovering secrets, but all you're doing is making yourself a target." Her pulse spiked. "A target for who?" Leonardo exhaled, running a hand through his hair. His silence was louder than any answer he could have given. Elena's breath came shallow. "Leonardo, what have you done?" A long pause. Then, finally, "There are people who don't want me with you," he admitted. "They see you as a weakness." A chill ran through her. "And are they wrong?" Leonardo's lips pressed into a thin line. "I don't have weaknesses." She almost laughed. "Then why are we here? Why did you chase me down today? Why do you care what Marco told me?" His eyes locked onto hers, and for the first time, she saw it fear. Not for himself, but for her. "I can protect you, Alina." His voice was low, almost desperate. "But you have to trust me." Her phone buzzed again. Another message. "Unknown. He can't protect you. Walk away, or you'll regret it." Elena's heart pounded. She wasn't just caught in a dangerous game anymore. She was the prize. Leonardo sat still, his fingers gripping the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turned pale. Alina stared out the window, the city lights blurring into a smear of color behind her unshed tears. The message still echoed in her mind. "He can't protect you. Walk away or you'll regret it." She swallowed hard. "So what now?" she asked quietly. Leonardo didn't answer. His silence was no longer heavy, was loaded with guilt, pain, and something deeper, something raw. "Alina?" His voice cracked. She turned to him, her brows furrowed. "What?" He didn't meet her eyes. "I've done a lot of terrible things, especially to you. I told myself it was necessary, that breaking you down would make you stronger, that the trials I put you through would prepare you for my world." His voice shook now, "But all I did was hurt you." Tears burned in her eyes. She whispered. He finally looked at her, his gaze stripped of arrogance and steel. "Because I was afraid of how much I felt for you, how you made me weak in a world that only respects power. I thought, if I pushed you away, if I controlled the narrative, I'd stay in control." Her lips trembled. "You almost destroyed me, Leonardo, I know." His voice broke. "But I love you, Elena. I've loved you from the start, and it terrified me. Because you weren't just a woman. I saw everything I wasn't in you. Honesty, compassion, strength, without cruelty." She stared at him, wide-eyed breath caught in her chest. Then, slowly, a tear slipped down her cheek. "I never asked for power," she whispered. "I just wanted to be seen." He reached for her hand, tentative, as if touching something sacred. "I see you now. Everything. And if you let me, I will spend the rest of my life making up for every scar I gave you." The tears came faster. But she didn't pull away. She nodded, lips trembling. "Say it again." "I love you." A sob broke from her throat. She leaned into him, burying her face in his chest. And for the first time, Leonardo didn't try to control the moment. He just held her gently, tightly, completely. Days later, the mansion fell into a storm of reckoning. Leonardo summoned every staff member. His voice rang with steel, not cruelty. "To every one of you who whispered lies about Alina, who humiliated her, bullied her, made her feel like less than she is. You're finished here. This house will not be a sanctuary for vipers." There were gasps, protests. But Leonardo didn't flinch. "She is mine now. And every lie you told to tear her down, I will expose them. Publicly, if I must. You will leave with nothing. You chose your sides, and you lost." He turned to Elena, who stood quietly beside him, dressed in elegance and strength. "You are no longer the girl they tried to break," he whispered. "You're the woman I nearly lost." Elena lifted her chin, her voice calm but fierce. "Let them watch. I'm not hiding anymore." And with that, the doors of the past slammed shut. The future hers and his had finally begun. Thank you for watching, but don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting stories. I'll see you again.